Doing well, doing well. Yeah, just kind of piggybacking on that. Derek Fisher talked about creating that competitive atmosphere, and there's also been talks that not only are all the players being competitive, but also supporting one another. How do you talk? How are you able to kind of go through that slippery slope sometimes of being competitive, but yet still pulling for one another because there's 16 of you and only 12 spots?
Yeah, I know that's the difficult part. And so we have to work on that as a league, as the media. We all have a responsibility to try to grow this league so that we won't have these hard conversations and tough decisions to make. So that's one thing. But then, moving farther, we also understand that this is a very long season. And though it's unfortunate that everyone won't be able to make this team, there's opportunities for other teams at other times. And so, giving players the confidence now that they need to possibly get on another team later, barring injury of anything that may happen, opportunities are always there. And then you got to think about internationally. So we're not just prepping them for an opportunity to be on this team, but, to help them on, moving forward in their basketball career. It's a lot of knowledge. It's a wealth of knowledge here that some of the younger players may not have had access to prior to. So definitely being able to harness that and take that forward will help them even, barring if they're here or not,
Time for two more for Seimone. We'll try one more time with Miriam.
Hey, Seimone, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now, and I can see you. What's up?
Hey, yeah, I know. I bogarted. I snuck in. Hey, so thanks for doing this and talking to us. I wanted talking about growing the game and growing the league. I wanted to ask a 25-year WNBA question, and just sort of obviously there's a bunch of players in the league now who their whole lives there's been a WNBA. Do you ever find yourself sort of reflecting on the league and all that you guys have achieved and its place in sort of American sports?
Yeah, I mean, being the old head on this team, the younger girls on this team has always had an opportunity to dream of coming here. This didn't happen for me until I was well off into high school before this league formed, became. And so I'm just like, to see, the transition from me going to well, what's going to happen to me? Am I going to have to go to college and then it's to the workplace, or what's going on, to see the league happen, and then not just happen, but it burst on the scene, and Cynthia Cooper, Lisa Leslie, and all those wonderful ladies held the torch and did their thing to help us get to this point. And then you see this generation, the Namkatis and the EC take over and come in with a CBA that's now more progressive and supportive of what we're trying to do moving forward. You can't think to the hope and the thinking that the growth in the media and the sponsorship opportunities that are being created for us and for women in sports is going to be amazing to see how this blossoms. Everything is on a rise. We're at 68% viewership, increased viewership from last year. The NCAA women's tournament did well this year. So everybody's looking for basketball, fiending for women's basketball, to see what those young ladies there were, in the collegiate level now, what are they going to transition and do on this level? So it's a beautiful thing, the growth over the last 25 years, the up and down, but now we're finding our stride and really moving forward. So I'm happy that I was able to be a part of it, even though I feel a tad bit, I was here with 16 of the 25. So, I've experienced a lot of the changes, the changing of the guards and the changes of opportunities that we've been able to see.
Thank you so much.
Last question for Seimone. We'll go to Megan Hines.
Hi, Seimone. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Megan?
Good. I just wanted to ask, since you talked about being an old head on a team and being around a lot of the younger ones, how's the generational kind of shifts between you guys because of the SWV escape thing that you guys are talking about? What are some different pop cultural things that you guys have learned about one another in this time?
And you know what, the biggest conversation that we had, a lot of the beats and a lot of the songs that they know is something different from what we know. And so we would go back and forth about the different songs. I'm trying to think, who is it? Tory Lanez, that's the guy that takes the old school beats and put it to new school stuff. And I'm like, yo, that's such and such beat. That's Usher. Like, what is my, they like, nah, this. So we'll kind of go back and forth about the music part of everything when it comes to like the pop culture or whatever. Like they don't know. They didn't even know who SWV was. Like Coop had to get help from Coach Fred in that Money Moan days that you saw. But it's good that, you know, we're around because we get to have those conversations and kind of laugh about them at the end of the day. And like I said before, we learn a lot from them. Like, and they got way more energy than we ever had when it comes to investing in TikTok and all this stuff. Like I could never, I mean, I think the closest our generation got was like Dub Smash. Can anybody remember like Dub Smash? Like that's the closest that we got to anything equivalent to that. So, you know, we just kind of got to embrace the transitioning of where we're at. I kind of feel like my parents, now I understand what my parents feel like when they're like, you know, this generation, yeah, I don't know nothing about this. Yeah, you know what I mean? I feel like that, like, with this team, but it's a loving, friendly banter that we have going back and forth between the generational